Today's event will explore technologies and services that are delivering innovation to organizations while solving critical business problems. We'll also uncover the challenges that each of these companies solve for their customers. And finally, we'll examine how the solutions offered by each of these companies are differentiated in the market. At this point, I'd like to hand it off to Hunter.
I want to kick it off with Madhu. Hey, Madhu, it's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And we've been collaborating now for over 3 years successfully. Give us an update on Accelerator, where you are in terms of your launch, your growth. You've been at it now some time, have had some amazing success. And what is the issue or the problem you're solving in the enterprise platform?
One is this whole digital automation, what I call the work from home or future of work, which is, look, we all went through COVID. When we started in 17, we don't know this is going to happen, right? Nobody could predict the situation we all ran into. So future of work really drove most of ISRA's success in the last 18 months. So people are sitting in platforms like Zoom, like we are doing here today, Zoom, right, Hunter? Are sitting in Slack or Microsoft Teams. People want to get their work done. People are not going to go back to the offices. So everything is so virtual. That really drove ISRA adoption a lot in terms of how to automate the standard IT services, help desk, anything to do with around IT automation and hyper automation. So, and with a good experience. So that's one area we really drove a lot.
Great stuff. We'll circle back to you in just a minute. Hey, Chandra, you're up next. Accelerator is an HMG favorite as well. You have a really interesting company. Tell us a little bit about your vision, your mission, and background and funding.
We were founded last year. We started in Jan 2020. We raised seed in December 2019. We raised Series A couple of months ago. We are seeing significant traction with a lot of Fortune 100s, 500s as well, and look to continue that journey and be part of DevOps transformation for a lot of our CTO and CIO leaders.
Hey, Ritesh, you're up next. Air Gap is up to some interesting things. Tell us a little bit more about Air Gap.
Air Gap is pretty simple, Hunter. Look, ransomware has become a menace for every organization. I don't know of a single organization that is not concerned and possibly not infected. And I've spent more than 2 decades in the industry understanding what are the fundamental flaws that is causing these ransomware to propagate so rampantly, and figured out a very clever solution to address the challenge. That's what Air Gap is all about. It is essentially a ransomware protection solution, and it's the best in the industry, I promise you. I want anybody on the call to come and talk to me and understand how we do this and challenge us on our technology. But we offer the best defense against ransomware, hands down, no doubts.
And tell us a little bit more about it. I mean, it's such a topical, timely and topical item. I mean, it's everywhere, right?
We have a couple of very fundamental solutions that we offer, and every attack that you've seen, we obviously go and reverse engineer that to see how we would have better protected it. And every time we figure it out, that if these customers had Air Gap deployed, it would be so much better for them. They probably wouldn't be infected as much as they did. So the idea of Air Gap is most of the companies or vendors in the space are focusing on protecting the first victim. In our opinion and experience, all the enterprises have weak immune system. As in, if you get first victim infected inside the organization, it's game over for you. The ransomware propagates internally and very rapidly, actually. Air Gap provides that protection that the ransomware does not propagate inside your organization. Even if you have 1 or 2 or half a dozen infected devices, we would just isolate the ransomware into a single device.
So Madhu, there are other players in this market. What makes Accelerator uniquely different?
So I think what makes us unique is, I think, focus on doing the quality of solution. ISRA early on bet on some good technology to do what we call unsupervised AI. What we don't want to do is in this space is do very manual work. The things not to do that you used to talk about, like AI should not be data scientists. It's not hiring people and putting in a box, right? So solution has to be really good. So our unsupervised AI, particularly NLP and in NLU, was very ground-changing, Hunter. The second thing is in the AI space, our technology to do what I call graph algorithms to how to do ops in a way where you really don't have too much what you call anomaly detection solutions. Then it becomes too much manual. So those things really helped us, how we differentiated us. I call it our solution 0-day AI. Again, you don't want something just as a message to Chandra and Ritesh is I've been through AI a lot over the last 10 years. Make your solution out of the box. It should be transparent, explainable, out of the box. What you want is, I call it zero-day AI. If somebody says that your AI will take, forget about zero-day attack and air gap, Ritesh. If your AI will take more than a 1 day to deploy, you're pretty much dead on waters, guys. You don't need consulting services. Your solution deploy in same day. So that's very important.
Hey, Chandra, back to you. When you think of cloud and security, what comes to mind?
Mainstream customers are going to cloud, and more importantly, multi-cloud as well, right? So there's different clouds that provide different use cases. So some of them have certain things on-prem. You put certain things on AWS for, particular use cases, some on Azure. We see a lot of multi-cloud. So there's different things that come to mind, right? So how do you manage access? Where is data stored? How do you manage data itself? But also, how does software delivery flow across these clouds? Right? What tools do you use? Where do they reside? How does the CI/CD ecosystem, how is it set up? How do you do the code scans? How do you do infrastructure container scans so that you're ahead of the curve on security and not looking at it reactively once it's deployed into a production environment? How do you get metrics, not just for security, but productivity metrics for developers or quality metrics? So you're staying on top of things, so you're not going and fixing things after the fact. Those are all aspects that come to mind. So Apsara, from a CI/CD automation perspective, we integrate security and quality into pipelines dynamically through a choice of security tools. So for example, you can pick an integration to Sonar or Twistlock. I would love to go back and talk to Ritesh after this call, right, to see how, what are the other integrations. So we look at the integrations to prominent tools that address these proactively, and then also give metrics. So we have our own data transformer that collects data from these different tools and allows you to build your own personalized dashboards. So you can look at what's working, what's not, stay on top of security, quality, productivity, compliance, etc. Right, from an actionable intelligence standpoint.
Over to you, Ritesh. When you think of air gap, it's pretty timely again and topical. What would you say? What's the one or two things that you can say that the spike in ransomware attacks just in the past 12 months? What can we attribute it to? What's going on?
It's really bad right now, but trust me, it's going to get worse. And I have reasons to believe that. Let me explain. The perfect storm started with, first of all, cryptocurrency, and second is lure of financial gain. Two best motivation for any criminal enterprise, which is I can harm anybody and never be caught. And that's just motivation for everybody. Second thing is there are nation states getting involved. This is the best way to earn money and use it for activities that would otherwise not be sanctioned. And it's very difficult to protect against such an enemy. Third thing I would say is in the last 12 months or 18 months, especially, look, we spent more than 3 decades optimizing our infrastructure, network, and security for what we used to call as office worker. So you go to office and you have this layers and layers of security and networking appliances that are stacked on top of each other that are doing the best job they can to protect yourself. Overnight, within a week, the IT was forced to abandon all of that and create this remote working environment, which is obviously not optimized even for a week. So it exposes a lot of vulnerabilities for organizations that were previously not exposed. So combine all three together, it makes a perfect storm, gives opportunity for the attackers to penetrate your organizations rather easily. And I don't think anybody is immune. What keeps me up at night is making sure air gap is protected. While we are protecting everybody else, it's really important that we have the right tool and which are configured correctly.
Great stuff. Hey, well, big shout out and thanks to both Madhu at Accelerator, Chandra at Apsara, and Ritesh at AirGap. Great to see you all. Thank you so much. All three top picks at HMG Strategy. We will see you out in the valley here in a few weeks. Thanks.